Well, in terms of setting a blueprint, I guess, for your identity moving forward and so many of the things that you'd like to see on a regular basis, Saturday a great example.
Yeah, I think it was. I think what you seen on Saturday was a real determination from our players and a desire to win a game of football. And it came across really well, actually. I thought physically and mentally, I thought we were very, very strong.
Yeah, and we've spoken about how with the new players coming in, they needed to move quickly because time is of the essence, and certainly on the basis of that performance, starting to bed in really well.
Yeah, I think so. I feel that the last half hour against Wimbledon was a lot more like us in terms of the intensity. We carried that on against Wickham, and then obviously the Rotherham game was a game where a team that had won 5 in the bounce had only narrowly lost to Hull in the Cup, the Championship team, had been scoring goals for fun, and it was probably the hardest time to play them. And I've got to be honest, we thoroughly deserved it. When I watched it back, we were really comfortable. It may have not have seemed that way because when they put so many tall players on, but apart from the one save Pim made, I thought we played very, very well. Our decision making was good, and what we worked on tactically worked very well. The players took that onto the pitch very well.
Yeah, so 2 really promising home performances and the final part of AFC Wimbledon as well. With the upcoming couple of away games, is it as straightforward as take what you've been doing at home onto the road? Can it just work like that?
Well, I think the way we play, in terms of we've set our standards in the last couple of games, and it's important that we maintain that if we can. I think that's the bare minimum we want to get, and we hope that's good enough to win games. But I've said to the players this morning, what we have shown is good character. We've shown that in moments of a real tough run of games, in terms of results, we've shown we didn't want to just lie down and accept that, and we've done something about it. And I think Saturday was very evident of that. And in terms of the atmosphere in the game, but after the game, it's probably the best it's been for a long, long time at the ground. In terms of everyone was connected. There were loads of people on the pitch after the game. Some of them I didn't even know who they were, but it was a real togetherness, and I really like that feeling. I like that atmosphere, and it's something that we really need. And we've got to, make sure that we bottle that and we keep it, and now don't look back and don't look behind us and sort of get the blinkers on and carry on. But I was absolutely delighted with the players on Saturday. I thought it was a very, very good performance.
Yeah, always nice to have that bounce, and having had the home form to underpin you right throughout the season, if you can just take a few steps away from home, it will leave you in a really strong position.
Well, yeah, our home form's been outstanding, and I think it is the best in the league. But to get to the next bit, we need to start picking up more points away from home, absolutely. We haven't won anywhere near enough points away from home. But again, I go back to the standards we've set of late. If we maintain them, it will give us the best chance of winning games. There's a bit of freshness in the team. I think we look really strong physically. I think we look really fit at the moment, and I'm pleased about that. So we've just got to try and carry on. Very difficult game. Accrington always is a very dangerous opponent, and one thing's for sure, I know how John's teams play. They'll have a right go at us. So it'll be a very difficult opponent we're playing against. But absolutely, to get to the next bit, to get the consistency and get a longer run going, we need to, obviously, we've got 2 away games now coming up. We need to get better results away from home.
Yeah, Accrington a little bit stretched by injury at the moment. Just to achieve what they've done over recent seasons, you have to be a properly wily side.
Yeah, they've both done a great job there. There's no getting away from it. But it's always a difficult place. And the injuries come. We've had, I can't sympathise with our team because of the amount of injuries we've had. It's part and parcel of the season, and we hope we've come through the other side of that. But whatever team they pick, it'll be a tough opponent.
Yeah, and you mentioned your side looking fresh after the weekend. I guess in terms of the team selection for tomorrow, it makes it that much more straightforward, because we've said the other day that I guess you're looking really for the warning signs when you've had a couple of players come in who haven't played all that much, just picking the right moment if they need a break. Yeah,
I think it's important the players give us good feedback on that. The ones you've mentioned that haven't been playing on a regular basis have come in Saturday physically demanding, perhaps the Wickham game not so much because they got a man sent off early. So we have to keep an eye on that. We'll have to have honest conversations with the players, people like Thompson and Brown and Smodic. But players are difficult to be saying when they're winning games, so I want to come out. But I think there's enough honesty in there. Well, I know there is, that whatever decision is made, it'll be made between myself and the player, and it'll be the right one for the team.
Yeah, and having had the 3 signings come in and then Sariki coming back from suspension, the injuries as well, suddenly you find yourself, on the basis of the past couple of results and the performances, with genuine competition for places. You've got some great decisions in terms of Josh Knight now being available, somebody like Niall Mason having to sit on the bench the past couple of games.
Well, yeah, I think when you look at the bench now, some of the players on it, Mason you've mentioned, Mo, who's just come out, but he'll go again. Boydie, Reedy didn't even make the squad on Saturday, so it's going to become more difficult for me, but it's a good problem to have, because only a few weeks ago I was struggling to make the bench with the numbers. At Bristol we had 6 teenagers on it, which is fine, but obviously you don't want that over a longer period. So yeah, we're looking stronger, the bench is looking stronger, and my job now is, when you're winning games in particular, excuse me, and you're leaving players out that perhaps have been a big fixture in the team, like a Mo, I've got to manage them and make sure that they keep their belief and confidence, because there's no doubt that all these players will be obviously needed.
Yeah, and talking about your strikers, talking about your teenagers, Ricky Jade coming off the bench at the weekend, and you must have been delighted with how he not only used his pace, but it was a real intelligent performance as well. He did exactly what he needed to do in the circumstances.
Yeah, he was outstanding when he came on. He really was. He stretched the game for us. He got us up the pitch. He gave the defenders a breather. He looked a real threat. He did exactly what I wanted him to do. I think when you're winning a game, and particularly at home, and the game's so stretched and open, and obviously they're going for it, the opposition, then he'll find space, and that's where he's best. So he's a very good substitution to have, especially when you're winning. Yeah,
and I guess with the transfer window, we're into the final week. Absolutely no surprise that the talk around Ivan Toney just seems to have gone up a notch. Is that something you were fully expecting?
Well, yeah, there's been a lot of interest, but I fully expect Ivan to stay. I don't expect Ivan to be going anywhere. He's been a model professional, and he's been in outstanding form, and he's important, very, very important to us achieving, if we can, a successful season. Obviously Marcus, we don't know what's going on with that. We'll have to see, but we've got until Friday. But I'm fully expecting Ivan to be staying.
Yeah, and in that situation, the player is key, isn't it? We've seen it in the past that if the player is happy with where they're at, suddenly then the decision becomes the club's, and you have that much more control. Yeah,
I've had it before. I've had it at other clubs, but in particular here. So Gale, Assembalonga, Tomlin, Boyd, and we've got on with it. And there's no difference to this one. But myself and the owners, the chairman, the good thing for me as a manager is that they don't want to be selling them unless it's an absolutely ridiculous offer to a League One club. And if you get that ridiculous offer from someone, then obviously common sense would come into it. But no, I don't think it'll be happening.
Yeah, one of the really exciting things about Ivan, I suppose, and it will be the reason that so many clubs are looking at him. Yeah, he scored loads of goals, but his all-round play, genuinely, is just so impressive, isn't it, in all of the forward areas, all of the jobs he has to do.
Well, he's another good example of, in the year I've been here, he's improved. There's no doubt about that. He's a lot more aggressive. His hold-up play is better. He's a more all-round player. There's no doubt about that. He's fantastic at defending set pieces. So his all-round game is really improved in the time I've been back at the club. And for me, he's the best striker in the league, no doubt about it.
Yeah, and in terms of his all-round play, is that one of the reasons you've had him captain the side on occasion, because of that presence?
Well, no, not so much the physical presence, more about what he's like in the dressing room, what he's like around the place. He is a leader. He's a good talker, Ivan. I had no hesitation making him captain. It had nothing to do with speculation or anything. It was just an easy decision. He's a proper bloke. I know he's young, but he's a proper bloke, the guy. A lot of respect for him, actually.